Great morning, everybody. This is Pastor Bob, and this is Ascension Healing Fellowship for the 28th of December, 2025. Wow, the final Sunday of the year 2025. It has been quite a journey for many of us. And in fact, Ascension Healing Fellowship started up in 2025 with our Sunday services. So we're really excited about what 2026 will bring. And that brings me to today's message. All month long, we've been talking about the original Christmas presents. We've been talking about the fear, the impossibility, the journey. And today, after all week long, talking about this Christmas present, we're going to talk about awareness. Awareness. That's the final of our original Christmas presents. And this really dives into some really cool stuff. So I hope you have a notebook. And I hope you're ready to take some notes, and we are going to try to roll through this because it's going to be kind of long, okay? Fair warning. All right, so in Luke chapter 2, verse 19, it says, Mary treasured up these things in her heart. Mary treasured up these things and pondered them in her heart. I want you to think about this. The passage for today, one simple verse. Mary treasured all that had happened in her heart. She kept it there at her center. She kept all that had happened and pondered it in her heart. Today, our meditation is breathing in. May all be aware of their journey. We're going to send some peace and hope for a new year and a new world out today by saying simply this: may all be aware of their journey. Breathing in, may all be aware of their journey. But Mary treasured up all these things, pondering them in her heart. So, moving into the message, the original Christmas presents were again fear, impossibility, journey, and today's is awareness. Awareness. So, I tried to put this into a really simple format. And it just kept getting longer. And so that's okay too. But I want you to think about this statement that I'm about to share with you. When we choose the journey, and we're going to dive into that journey here in just a minute. When we choose the journey, we move through the fear to face the impossible, which creates an awareness of perfect love beyond human comprehension. Let me stress that again. Let me say that again. When we choose to make the journey, we move through our fear, we face the impossible to become aware of perfect love beyond human comprehension. I want you to think on that. I want you to think on that statement as we move through today's message, because we're going to kind of cover over some of what we talked about already. But I'm going to give you some very specific prompts, some very specific journal prompts that I really would like to see you follow through on. Okay, so for starters, we talked about the journey. Well, that wasn't our first present, but the journey. Let me dive into that. The journey, the kingdom is within you. The kingdom is within you. And we talked about that just last week. Go to our YouTube channel if you want to check that out. The link is attached. The question to start is this: what is causing me to be disconnected from love? Again, what is causing me to be disconnected from love? Think on that. What is causing me to be disconnected from love? What is causing me to not be able to love? What is causing me pain and suffering? What is causing me pain and suffering? These are two questions to really put your journey into hyperdrive, because that's where the journey is. You see, our journey here is to find what disconnects us from love, because that's who the divine is, love. That's what the divine is. And then to move through that to reconnect. So, in these questions, we jumpstart our journey. And I'm going to give you an example in each one of these presents about how it works in my life. My example is I struggle, here's my struggle, trusting love. I really struggle with that. As many of you know, I had some things happen when I was younger. I was raised very religious, not based on love. I was raised when my dad passed at an early age. And again, I have a problem trusting love. I really struggle with trusting love. And as a result, I chose a pain-based connection. Instead of love-based, I chose pain-based. And I would I didn't do it obviously, but subconsciously, I was always looking for someone who would cause me pain in a relationship. I want you to think about how that works. And is that what's working in your life? So, part of the journey is to refocus on growing trust in perfect love. Refocus and focus, really focus on trusting perfect love. And that is a huge part of my journey. So, as we go on this journey, we move through the fear, which again was one of our Christmas presents, right? That was one of our original Christmas presents, the fear. Mary feared, the shepherds feared, everybody was afraid, but we moved through that fear. So, here's two questions, two journal prompts that I think you really ought to follow up on. Number one, what am I afraid to look at in me? What am I afraid to look at and see within me? What is it that causes me to struggle? And why don't I want to look at that inside of me? Why don't I want to look at the root cause of that? You see, it's not about just saying, yeah, that's something I struggle with. Okay, why do I struggle with that? Where did the origination of that struggle come from? Where did that struggle originate? Again, this is part of the journey, moving through that fear base that says, oh, don't look at that. Don't touch that. Don't look too closely at that. It's going to hurt. Trust me, it hurts a whole lot more when you don't go into that. That's what I've learned in my years. So, question number 2 on this. What truth sets me free or gives me rest? Again, question number 2 is what truth sets me free or gives me rest? Okay? To say those two questions again, what am I afraid to look at within me? And what truth gives me rest, gives me peace, gives me a sense of okayness? That truth might be, I'm embraced by perfect love. This is what I do. A lot of times I just say, what do you need right now, little Bob? And I'm going to talk about that here in a minute. I'm going to talk about that here in just a moment. But my example is this. I fear love leaving me, because it always has. I fear love leaving me. I fear love rejecting me. I fear love abandoning me. That's what I fear. So I reject closeness and provide ways that are self-fulfilling prophecies, if you've ever heard of that. I reject closeness. And instead of getting close, I find ways to push people away. And that's a miserable existence. And this is why the journey has been so wonderful for me. Because I've learned to live. And that's the ultimate goal in the awareness. Talk about that more in a minute. So I sabotage deep relationships and closeness to myself. I sabotage those. I find ways to make it so that person doesn't want to get close. I find ways to end wonderful incubated friendships. But I find ways to disturb that or rock that boat. I find ways to rock that boat. So the key is to see the pattern in my thoughts, because my thoughts create my actions. See the pattern in my thoughts. So whenever I'm feeling anxious about a love leaving me, I need to see that in my thoughts. And this is when I come in and I pick up little Bob and I hold him and I go, what do you need right now, little Bob? Let's just talk about just being okay to love. Let's just talk about the hurt being okay. It's okay. It's okay. You're in a safe place, little Bob. And I talk to little Bob that way, and I nurture little Bob, and I tell him that it's okay. Because for me, that's really, really the crux of the journey and the healing. So, fear, and because of fear, we face our impossible. We face our impossible. The kingdom is within you. The kingdom is within you. The kingdom is within you. We've said that on our journey. We've said that through our fear. And now we're saying that on our impossible. On our impossible. Mary pondered all these things and she treasured them in her heart, because there would be some really impossible days that would be coming up. So, here's my 2 questions for you. Here's my 2 journal prompts. Ready? Journal prompt number 1. What is it that is in me that needs to change? What is it in me that needs to change? So for an example, I need to change the way that I see love and the way that I deal with people and deal with people trying to get close. That's something in me that needs to change. That's an impossible thing for me to change. Unless, that's coming up later. The second question, will I face my giants with love and courage? Will I face my giants with love and courage? Will I face my Goliath? Will I face my impenetrable foe with love and courage, to look deep into that and to observe not just the pain, but observe the one observing the pain, because that's really who I am. That's really who I am. I'm the observer, not the pain. In these questions, we embrace the hurt to transform it. In these 2 questions, what is it in me that I need to change? What is that impossible thing, that thing that I feel like will never change? What is it? And will I face that giant with love and courage, or will I shrink? So here's an example. As a child, I had no power and no one holding me. They just said, we're moving. Well, things are changing. Well, we go. Never had a sense of stable home. It was just move, change, go, move, change, go. When I find myself struggling, I ask little Bob, get back to little Bob, what do you need right now, little Bob? When I find myself getting upset and I want to just go bash something and I just want to find a lawyer and sue somebody, I find myself going, what do you need right now, little Bob? What is it that you're lacking? What is it that you need? What is it that you need, little Bob, right now? And usually it's an embrace. Usually I just hold little Bob and I just let him know it's all good, man. It's all good. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to hurt. It's okay to have this pain. It's okay. It's okay. We're going to face it together. We're going to face it together. Let your little inner one know that you're there for them. And the last one, the awareness. And this is where it gets absolutely incredibly amazing, as if it wasn't already. Awareness. Through all of this, we are invited to an awareness of perfect love beyond human comprehension. To all this, we are invited to see the divine as perfect love beyond human comprehension. In that parable that you guys know that I love so much, Jesus said, if no one else wants to come, Listen, I don't care. We've got seats for everybody at the wedding feast. All are invited. Go out and get the lame. Go out and get the crippled. Go out and get the leper. Go out and get the people nobody else wants. All that pain. Bring all that pain to the wedding feast. Bring all of it to the wedding feast. Because this is where we're just going to let it go. We're just going to let it go. That's the awareness that you're moving toward. In awareness, our fear becomes fertilizer. Our fear becomes fertilizer for faith in a perfect love beyond human comprehension that heals more than just us. It becomes a shining beacon for others. And what you find is people come into your life and you go, yeah, I'm just going to shine my light because I know that pain. I still wrestle with that pain. I still struggle with it. Our impossible creates faith and possibilities for ourselves and others. And that's why you've got to take the journey. You've got to move through your fear. You've got to face your impossible because there are others who are really counting on you and depending on you. It said Mary treasured up in her heart, but she still struggled. Mary treasured up. She saw all this amazing things. She saw all the angels. She saw all these dominoes being played so amazingly. And yet, at one moment, she went to Jesus when he was older, when he was starting his ministry, and said, hey, listen, if you just come home right now, we've cleared it with the rabbis. They're going to say that you were temporarily crazy and it's all good. So don't worry about the struggle. Just stay focused on your journey. That would be my suggestion. That would be my suggestion. So, moving into January 2026, next Sunday, 2026, we're going to spend a month talking about a very different Savior. We've gotten all of our Christmas presents unwrapped. We know where we're going to, but we're going to talk about a very different kind of Savior and why that is so important to who we are becoming, and our journey. I hope and pray that 2025 has blessed you. It has certainly blessed me being able to be the pastor at Ascension Healing Fellowship and being able to share these words with you and being able to share a different kind of Savior. So stay tuned. 2026 is going to be amazing. Love you guys. We'll chat soon.